Right, so it's the, what's the date? The 29th of the 6th, 26. I've not been able to do any recordings recently, but I can tell you now the setups have been really bad. Anything from knife-shaped vehicles at me, to timing vehicles to smash me to pieces, to taking the piss with a loud bike or bike tying to an erection, itchy bumhole, itchy tingling bell end or fucking rim or whatever you want to call it. As stupid as it sounds and as personal as I have to make it, you know, I'm really pissed off that I even have to mention this, but this doesn't stop, does it? This stupid fucking problem. So yeah, there's been about 400 bikes today to start with. This is just while out, not counting the ones that are tied to erections at home. And I left my place at just before 1 PM to go to Bridport on the bus. I've had to put up with a load of vaping today, so there's been about 100 people vaping at me, so I've had to put up with raspberry vapes. So obviously they're rubbing their bodies together, they're vaping, there's a machine, it's going back in your mouth and it goes da 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 da. Yeah. Right, so this 4-letter name that I'm not allowed to mention that begins with the letter E. Someone in America thinks that I'm with that person or got communication with that person. I only knew her on that one day of the 14th of January 2026. I'm not allowed to include her name anymore on my Facebook or YouTube or anything like that, because I can get arrested, I could go to jail, I could have restrictions put on me, or be stopped from using the internet indefinitely. Now I think that what they're trying to do, I don't think that's the reason. I think the reason that what they want to do is they found out that they messed up a possible girlfriend for me, and they don't want it. They don't want the information getting on the internet because it could cause a warfare between the UK and another country if another country has found out that information. Just a theory, I'm not sure. However, I have been told that if this person with the 4-letter name beginning with the letter E contacts me, then I'm in the clear. But that's not going to happen because she doesn't have my details or anything like that. If she sees me in the street and she says alright to me, I'm allowed to say alright back. But if not, then I can't say nothing. So she has to put the first move into place. I don't know what was wrong with my posts, what I put on Facebook, but they weren't really, to be fair, they weren't really that bad. There's nothing negative that I mentioned about that specific lady. Now, I found out the reason that they stopped her going to that community day, and she was only there on that one day, is because of her age and the age gap between other people that go there and her, and they want to restrict the age, even though she's legal age of consent to have sex with, if that was to be the case. If it was, say, going back before 2003, the restrictions wouldn't have been so tight, or before 2003 or wherever, say 90s, then obviously me going with someone that age would be seen as normal, no problem at all. But they've got this issue where I've been told by people in authority that really you've got to go with people over the age of 38, and that's impossible because I don't take to negative attraction. I don't want a stale person. I don't want someone who's uglier and more negative looking with rougher skin and more used than people that sexually abused me as a child at the time I was abused. I mean, that's really going to compensate for the issue of being sexually fucking murdered for another life, isn't it? So, you know, they're not going to help me. They're stopping me get anyone. Nobody's going to help. They're restricting me and stopping me as I age. And as I age, it gets more difficult to find a younger person because I don't go for the older type. But if you haven't had sex in your whole life properly, then obviously that's going to be the case, isn't it? I mean, everybody else out there had sex when they were in their teens, and they've even mentioned it and saying that these people have got to come first. All the people that haven't had anyone have got to come first, but at a younger age. When it comes to me, I've got a knife put in my back, and I'm told to go with a fucking granny when I haven't had anyone in my whole fucking life. For first, proper sex. You know, how is that going to compensate for being sexually abused? And what happens when I'm born in my next life? Jesus Christ is going to rape the guts in and out of me through men fucking the guts in and out of me as a child in my next life. And what happened in my previous life, according to a past life psychic reading I had about 20 years ago. I was a little girl who was sexually abused and had it really, really bad in my previous life. Died tragically with no sex, working in a laboratory, but the death was how I died wasn't mentioned in my last life, and I was a female in my last life. So I'm having the piss taken out of me. Anyway, these setups are making the same suggestion as what people tell me. You've got to go with an older person, a grubby looking face, someone that's even uglier than me. I'm not being funny, but my skin, for some reason, they say people with autism have better looks. I don't know if that's true or not, but I've heard. But the skin I got at 44, coming at 45, is smoother than those in their high 20s or 30s. And I'm not making that up when it comes to dating sites. So surely there should be someone that gets sexy. It's not, I've got to answer the phone, 2 seconds. Right, I can't remember completely what I've mentioned, but there's been over 80 incidents of trying to smash a vehicle into me or corrupt a vehicle in a controlled way to smash me to pieces. When it comes to my father, they're also making suggestions that are well below the belt and far-fetched. I've got to answer the phone. Something's playing up on the phone. Can't answer it, just won't. The service is saying. Yeah, so, right, I've lost where I was. It seems to be a lot on sexuality in the setups today. The threats are on the increase, by the way, around where I live. Only in the last 3 days. This 4-letter name that begins with E, I can't say the name. I've been told that it's been messed up, but they've also said it's because they're playing on Izzy Simpson, which is the name of a celebrity that did, a magician celebrity, who's now a young adult. They're saying that's why they messed up this 4-letter name and stopped her going to the community day, because they said that they knew what was going on and saying that you're not having anyone and because you're too old, basically. So it's a piece of information that I needed to get mentioned. It's very serious that I mentioned that piece of information. Whether that's true or not, or if that person was supposed to be for me, they got to replace it. But at the same time, they wanted me off the internet, as I mentioned, so that they were threatening to put a ban on the internet for completely, or to put a curfew, or to stop me going out if I was to continue putting that specific names on that on Facebook or whatever. And they twisted something because they said, you still trying to go after her after she said no. She hasn't actually said no to me, and I've only actually seen her on that one day. And they're making the suggestion that she's been there more than one occasion. She was only there on that one day. That's the only day I ever saw this specific person. But she did like me as a friend, and I liked her as a friend as well, because she was a decent person. In actual fact, it's probably the nearest person that's like me, that's female, that's a cute looking sort of person of a sort of young age that's ever liked me in my whole life. And I'm not making that up. So, it just says it all, doesn't it? That's something else. I don't think it would have been Paradox, but I heard like the sample that's in Intense Paradox, Rugged Vinyl Records, Jungle track, Rugged 7 as it's known on the record as the catalogue number. The breakdown part of that track where it goes da, 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 whoa, whoa, whoa. Well, someone was playing that part of the track, or if it is that track, in a van that actually says that 4-letter name that begins with an E. So that track suggests lighthouses. It's one of it's top of the list of my top favourites. It has been my favourite jungle track of all time. As it stands at the moment, I'm not quite sure what my favourite jungle track is. In actual fact, the Alliance First Impressions on Reinforced Records, which was originally pressed as a 10-inch on Legend records in 93, that's got her name right across it, that 4-letter name. There's over 250 tracks with that one person's name that are spiritually uncovering. There were specific issues regarding this name's still uncovering and unfolding everywhere, but they messed it up. The problem is, when they messed it up, the month later, because I was told by someone in authority that she found a partner and saying that you're too old for her, even though she's legal age, so they're sort of having a go at me and say, really, you need to be with someone over the age, I think it's either 37 or 38. And I thought to myself, that's a fucking insult for someone to basically near enough have to lose virginity over when they've been sexually abused as a child and not had sex in their whole life. And it's happened many times as well, and I'm being told that I would go with someone that age. But let's look at the facts, shall we? What age was everybody else when they lost virginity? And what age was their first ever girlfriend? Maybe that needs to be fucking questioned, because I'm not fucking happy with the situation of all this crap that's being thrown at me and being told to go with fucking negative attraction or very old ladies. That's a fucking insult. I mean, I'm not even that bad looking according to most of the people that I speak to in foreign countries, but the problem is I can't risk the scams, you see. And they say you're very good looking for your age, so why can't I have someone good looking? The type of person I should have been with is a blonde teenager that's so hot, but obviously my enemies took that away from me over the years, and now they've made it too late for me to go with that type. They fucking cut my throat, they cut my wrists, and jeopardised me. Even if I was to look at someone the age Jesus Christ was when he was crucified, I'm being put down as fucking sad. If someone from another country, this is interesting, this bit, if someone from another country, the same age as this person with that 4-letter name that begins with an E, because she's not from this country, and she's okay with it, they don't have a problem with me going with someone the same age as that person. But because it's the UK and it's different, they won't allow it. But if you want someone that comes from China or Japan or another country, America, and she moves into the UK or sees you in, you're quite welcome to do what you like. But they strongly recommend that you go with similar ages, because people have a problem with the age gap today, and younger women prefer younger men and don't want to go with older men. That never used to be the case. They used to be all ages up until around about, again, 2003 area. 2003 was a bad year, because there was a few music tracks which turned a person against me that I wanted to go with. And they also they folded under the entire old school jungle scene, that's underground stuff, in that year. In 1997 they put copyright on using other people's material to create music tracks. You had to pay for every sample you use. But in 2003, when it comes to the underground jungle scene, with the tracks that say that 4-letter word, I might add, they've buggered it up. They closed the whole of the jungle scene down. And it's the same with the underground acid techno and some of the Detroit techno and the instrumental techno sounds. That's all under as well, and same for the trance goer type stuff. So the whole underground scene's been folded under because of the government enforcing music restriction laws in the UK. However, if you wanted to listen to hip hop or anything that's got word in it, music that's got word in it, that's what they want you to have. But when it comes to musical sound that's underground, it's a no-no, unfortunately, these days. Right, so like I said, I'm facing the road, because the bus doesn't go up in this direction anymore for some reason. And obviously, there have been about 4 incidents of hitting a drain cover over as well, times as I walked past one. And that's terrible on this specific road anyway. There's a specific lady, a young lady that I saw the day where I realised that you can't get on the bus, which she's taken. There's been a lot of seagull sounds saying shot dead, being knifed, or being raped in your next life, or telling me to fuck people that raped me as a child. That is something else that I needed to mention that I've forgotten about. I'm not doing very well because there's a few days that a week I've not been able to do any recordings because of the situation of heat wave. So I've got a smashed glass looking red mixed with black lorry. Most of the cars are stopping and get past the bike. Basically it's a convention at the moment, this road, until now, where it's just about eliminating. So it's been a convention for the last 5 minutes. Drain covers hit, black and blue cars, sexual. You name it, you name it. I can't be bothered to state it all because I'm struggling to state it on paper as it is, but that's what's been going on. I'm being vaped. There's nothing I can do about it. Raspberry vape. Got to inhale other fucking disgusting fucking flavours of sweets. Right, I wanted to do the recording in the fucking church, I can't. You don't want me to have a fucking stay on this fucker, do you? Right, whether they're people or not, I've got to, that's the only place I can do it. Right, so, can't remember where I left off to now. Drains hit time, Seagull says shot down. There seems to be a popular thing that it's saying at the moment. These animal voice sounds have increased in the last 4 days, especially in the heat wave. Very clear as well. Other people can understand what's being said when it occurs, because it's been mentioned in conversation by people outside of where I live. Just in the time period where things started to worsen. Right, so more drain covers hit, crutches at me, a couple of sneezes, shot dead Justin, liar said, Phoenix, followed by a bike tied to a erection. More people around. He's being stabbed, said. Just a minute. We'll push that out of the way for everything. Phoenix. Bike time, nice shape timed. Zimmer frame. Pink colour Zimmer frame, sorry, angled at me in 410. It'd be helpful if they could just well, the bus doesn't go to the hospital anymore. I mean, I've only ever been up there, 2 times. The last time I went up there, I still haven't been in the woods yet, but I'm going to have to do that later on when the weather's cooler, because I'll just end up soaking wet and sweat. I can only do field walks. Right, bike with big wheels up me, teenage mother, God possessed to say fuck, I won't say the 4-letter name, but it's not good, but it's not the name that begins with E. This is a male name. Blue sexual car, Zimmer frame angled at me, drains it over. I'll tell you something about the other day, I'll just get this bit out of the way first. So, motorbike to erection, another motorbike and Phoenix van. And I will get to this threat first. Well, not threat. 2 old people, old couple this time. Woman and man, about 67, no, about 70-ish. Saying where is she, and saying there's going to be a whole load of trouble now, so something's going on. Just a couple of days ago, I can't remember what it was now, some bloke passed me. These were 2 old blokes, roughly about the same age, 70-ish, and what is it they said? Saying, yep, they messed, is it something like, I can't remember the exact wording now, but it's basically saying, yep, they messed it up, that's why he's not with her. So it sounded like that, and then they started having an argument, these specific 2, sort of saying, because the traffic flow was busy, I didn't actually catch what was being said, but they, so there is people that I noticed or I found out that whoever or whatever should have been has been taken from me. And I'm not happy, it's got to be replaced. Considering it's been in much mud, there's a lot, always get it in that path I've only been up there twice, but the first time the bus came from the hospital, I knew about it 15 years ago, but I've only been up there twice. The second time was on a Saturday, a couple of weeks ago, something like that, and the last bus didn't come, so I had to get another bus to go to Weymouth to get the train home, which cost me 13 quid or something like that. So obviously the 3 o'clock bus didn't go past, and as I was walking up, and I thought if that's the case, then obviously it doesn't go out there anymore, so I'm not risking the 5:15. This time last year, the last bus back would have been 1:15 p.m, but obviously they changed the times now. Right, so they've been suggesting Sadie and Stephanie and Ian with all the setups. Yes, there's a raspberry vape. Fuck's sake. Yeah, to keep on timing motorbikes, there's about 500, something like that now. 400, just under, I don't know, under 500. Yeah, the other thing that they're setting up is they've been doing this for a couple of weeks now, maybe a bit more. I can't remember when it started. I've been through a heat wave for the last week, so when it comes to my father, they're making a load of far-fetched suggestions, but not far-fetched, well below the belt, taking the piss really, really maliciously. But this type of suggestion that they're suggesting is not good, and I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want to offend anybody or my father, so I'm going to have to go into church and be accompanied by people. Nothing else to do. The town's pretty much dead, hardly anybody out there. Even though I've had a couple of threats, it just does seem to be the nastier type I noticed today. However, it's the sort of nastier type for this area, so I don't usually get too much problems, and I haven't really had many problems today either as far as threats go, but it is one of those days where I'm walking into the sort of negative types of people. There's a lot of teenagers that are single mothers, sorry, should I say mothers. This is the problem. It's just it's impossible to find anybody. There's basic attraction. They keep referring me to the grubby type. This is the mistake, this is the mistakes they shouldn't have taken away from me, what they've taken in the past, or even to current day. And the last person that they took from me as a possibility would have been that 4-letter name that begins with an E. And even when I went to the community day last week, because I was close to someone, this was in the heat wave, I was even forced, they even pushed me away from sitting next to her and forced me to sit next to Peter, who's the one that's sitting next to her at that. As far as people go, as when it comes to that community day, there are less and less going, but there is 2 basic attraction females that I knew going back a couple of years that have always gone there. One's 42, but she only looks like she's about 25, but she's not interested in any sexual relationship and she doesn't want a partner. She's made that clear, and she hasn't done it in a nasty way, she's done it in a friendly way. And the other one, who's a bit younger, she's early 20s, she gave me a piece of paper saying that she doesn't want to be friends with me. We got to the stage where we're friends, but she has made it clear with the friendship that it's never going to go into a relationship or anything like that. If that ever took place, but you're quite welcome to alright? Yeah. Sit at the table and do the puzzle with her at the specific place where the community day takes place. And I can't go in there. We've got the food bank, and there's only people going in and going out, so I've got an hour and a half wait outside there going to the town. So so I'm a bit, this is not helpful. Already got a load of setups. I will mention this. There is a lot of suggestion to push me out of Bridport from going to Bridport with the force or control that's around me. I noticed lately was the only place where you can get freely, sort of where people are a bit more freer, not so stern or dry and sarcastic and all mothers everywhere. That's the problem. This is what's making it very difficult. And yes, there's a bike, it's timed. Yes. I'm on my bike, Christ. My bike's pushed over to me. Yeah, I'm on bike. Yeah, Christ. You fucking sad bastard. Right, to my willy. Hang on. Oh, there's another bike. To my willy. Right. Right, I've forgotten what I was going to say now. Because I pissed about on privates with an bike or bike. Drains hit. Didn't make much noise, but it was hit. Grey, white. Yeah, there's a lot of grey-white timing. There's a lot of angling of grannies into my direction, or telling me that's who you're supposed to enjoy sex with. Going back 2 days ago, there's a granny midget in my direction with heavily with red lipstick on. That's very heavy. I will mention something else. Since the time period that I saw that 4-letter name that begins with E, they've stepped up all this action, as well as the whole bike issue being 700 to 1,000 per day, almost every day, which has dropped slightly since I started using a digital audio recording device to capture that many on one recording in one day in the last 4 days, 3 days. Oh god. Yeah, actually by my old bike, hang on a second. Bike from behind. The Star newspaper says "do the Congo" or something like that, which is like a sexual term to say like ride your boyfriend or girlfriend. So I don't know who they're referring to, but it's definitely not me. Right, so the rest of the setups is they want me on a bike, bright van, itchy bumholes bike, 2 bikes at me, motorbike with light on. I'll take out your teeth, said. Gap top, itchy bumhole bike. Teenage mothers, you know, there's sort of really sexy types pushing a mistake. That's happened a few more times. To cut a long story short to what I've written, itchy, small bike issues. To cut a long story short as well, I'll just leave that out and just state the alternative stuff. Ada, taxi, whistles, fart smell. And basically the rest is basically mothers under the age of 23 or the bike issue. Yeah, the church is packed. For sake. There's a half 1 hour wait on the bench for the bus home. And once again, there's something else I wanted to mention. This has also happened in the last 4 days. There's how many is it? There's 9 people that I've tried to communicate with, to make contact with, or they're people that I've known that have clicked into my head that I forgot about, looking at alternative possibilities. Although they're not the bestest of lookers, they have like smooth skin and sexy enough to shag, but unfortunately all of those 9 are in relationships or mothers, and 2 of them I wasn't actually sure about. and one of them I thought was just sort of single, but maybe a bit fussy with the age gap. But note she's taken as well. Well, sitting on this bench, there's been another 12 incidents with loud bikes in just several minutes or so. There's a lot of information that I want to give, but I've forgotten what it is over the last 4 days. There's also another sticky hot day today, although you have got a little bit of cloud. It's still very warm. So I'm not sure what the weather forecast is for today, but it's the 29th of June 2026, and to me it appears to be half sunny and half cloudy, so you've got about an equal amount, roughly about the same of each, for what type of weather we got. A bike pushed at me. Right, so we've got seagulls saying shot dead just then. So I've just been for a little walk about all the rest of it, good to waste time. So there's been a few more single mothers and bike issues, and they're making the suggestion of that 4-letter name that begins with E. They basically want to make the suggestion or apply, but basically the simple thing that she's had sex. So yeah, not much more than that. That is about it, but I haven't really walked that far. Just sort of wasting time to get wait for the bus. I just want to mention that Bridport is a different to Yeovil, Bridport, Taunton, Western Supermare, that sort of area. Glastonbury's here and there. Glastonbury used to be a bit better. Bridport's probably one of the better places I've been to, because I sort of don't get too much problems, but you do get days where it can be really nasty, because even the rough community are decent and say alright, whatever. So I just wanted to mention that. The type they usually they're not so friendly are the ones that have got that accent, that strong modern Somerset accent where they bring out the R when they're saying words like, so if you say the word bash, they say bosh, they got that R out in the word. Sort of posh accent type, but from a modern rough community. They're the type that don't sort of get on with me, but the druggy type, or the whatever sort of, is totally different to the type I just mentioned, which is all across Somerset. Custom King's van, 2 bikes, 2 erections timed. The sound I'm gonna mention another the CD I write stuff down on, but I can't get across the road. I'll have to go across in a minute. There's 2 CDs I carry, the cases. I decided to put something on them so people can read it when I walk past. So one's a music track. At the moment it's currently Dar Dogs non-stop, Prime Time Max 1994, and the other one is Anyone's Single. Some bloke about 35, rough type person, not that stupid Gar accent, but the sort of ordinary sort of rough, you know, the common type. Sort of said, why don't you go and try and get a prostitute? The thing is, I didn't tell him this, I just said that it's not, there's not many about, and he says, there's plenty of those about, mate. There isn't, that's the problem. Otherwise that would have been the option even 10 years ago when I was feeling a bit suicidal. So obviously I didn't tell him this because it wouldn't look good if I told him this, and I don't know what it's like in this specific area because it's a bit different. But we've also got it's a bit busier than usual actually. Yeah, the other thing you've got to take into account is they moan about the age gap. they've got the same restriction on you as those on dating sites. It's no different. And there's very few that are doing it. The nearest, going back to earlier this year, is an Asian woman in London, and that's the only one that's doing it. The ones that are white and British seem to be the grubby type. Otherwise, as far as sexuals go, basic attraction, absolutely nothing. Right, so there's been a couple of grey sexual cars in black and blues, white, and more bikes, lots of more bikes, and Michael Scalding van and blue sexual car, Bitchy Bellends a bike, and then Turnhead and more bikes. I'm on the way up to bike issue, bike coming up the area to go direct into me, and bus is late. I saw that lady that came up and spoke to me, I think September last year. I didn't want to miss the last bus. So she went to go to Bridport Church at roughly 5:15, 20 past 5, whatever, because it was a bit of a late bus. And she tried pushing in the queue, so she was sent outside the church by the church ladies who were serving her food bank. She didn't acknowledge me, both walking there or leaving, but she does have a boyfriend, so it's too late to go to that person. And those 2 bags, which were one for her and one for her boyfriend, which was collecting for him as well, so it's too late to go to that person. Right, so give you the rest of the setups. Loads of loud bikes to erections and bikes. So you're looking at about 80 to 100. And obviously, time to itchy back end. And it's just continuous since I've been back home. Anything else that we mentioned on another recording. There's a lot of information in this specific recording. Yes, there's several people I've lost, if the possibility was there, and this Bridport one is bloody it's too late for that person as well. Because going back a couple of weeks or so ago when I last went there, this person appeared to be single again, but she didn't acknowledge me properly. But what's happened is she collected her food bank. So I'll give you the story from the start where it comes with this lady. So it's September last year. I was at the bus stop. It was one of the hottest days of the year, and basically started having a conversation saying she's single and she wants to, and I said that's, yeah, I said I was interested, but at the time there's people around the back mistaking me as other 4-letter names and threatening to smash me out in a minute, and this is the direction she was going to go into. However, when she did speak to me, it was in a coincidental way, but I couldn't take that risk on that specific day, and I was a bit nervous, and also it was like 2 minutes away from the last bus home on that day before they changed the times. So they sent me up to the next day, and she said yeah, and I said at a specific time. So when I arrived, she wasn't there. A couple of weeks, months down the line, however long it was down the line, she had a boyfriend, and the boyfriend made threats at me as I passed. And it happened on a couple of other occasions, and there was times where I tried avoiding her because of the situation. Then I didn't see her for quite a while, for months, until recently, which was a couple of weeks ago. And on another occasion. But today, she went at the food bank, just gone 5:15, I can't remember what time it was. It was maybe 20 past, might have even been 25 past, I'm not sure. I know the bus was late when I was way before she arrived. So she went in the church, as I've already mentioned on the recording. I could hear what was being said, even though I was on the bus stop at the other side, but there was a few things I couldn't hear because of cars been passing or whatever. And bikes, obviously. And The lady's a bit younger than I thought she was when she, because going back to last year, I sort of guessed around 30, 35, more likely 25 to 30. Roughish type accent, but of a rough type that's different to the people that you got today. Is not like the people who like say, you know, instead of saying bash, I say bash, I mean, or got that R in the accent. It's not that type. It's the type, the alternative type, the common type. And I didn't get so much trouble from that type. So anyway, she was forced to leave the church because she wanted to be in the first position in the queue, and whatever it was that was going on. I wasn't in the church, but I heard the conversation. So she came out and started having a disagreement with the church ladies, because they do it in church, and she said she needed the food bank bag for herself, but also her boyfriend. So that's just confirmed that it's too late to go with that person as well. So this is what being documented on air. Right, there's a few other things I need to mention I forgot to mention, and there's another thing I need to mention. I have redone this recording. I'm doing it again, this specific section of the recording, because at the time I wasn't thinking of this, but obviously in the midst of the loud bikes and bikes being timed at times I'm not happy about, there was about 10 blonde looking ladies at a young aged that I saw, of the same characteristic, of the same look, alike or whatever. Well, initially I was looking for a celebrity to match this person, and it just came to my head that is that it's basically a lookalike to that 4-letter name I mentioned earlier, which begins with E. And I just thought of that. It didn't click, but they need to know that's true. That's not possible. That has to be replaced. Like the woman that I saw today, everything that I've known in my life is through. You've got that person who had the 2 puppies that got on the bus at Crewkerne Railway to go to Mosterton, a bit more Misterton or whatever you call it. I'm not sure which part that comes under, but where it's Crewkerne Railway Station, or it counts as Misterton, I'm not sure. Saw her on 2 occasions. It's hard to work out what age she is. She's one of those types where she could be about 30 but only looks 20, or she could actually be about 20. She is giving me dazzling looks with her eye and friendly looks when I saw her at the bus stop. The thing is, it's not guaranteed that she is single, or if I'll ever see that person again. It's if you look at it on every possibility, including relatives or family, or deep down in relatives, even people like, even the minors are in relationships, or they're the negative type, which are going to be too ugly to fancy when they reach legal age, sort of thing. So it's all like that. It's all, I've worked it out right through. So when I'm saying that there's no one left, possible, I mean there is no one at all left. The nearest possibility left out of everything, I'm talking out of everything, is that lady that I saw with the 2 puppies, are a bit older dogs now. That is the only possibility left, and that is about, what, 90% not going to happen, because I don't know if I'll ever see that person again, and I haven't seen her since last year. So that is the only possibility out of everything left, unless it's someone new. I've already mentioned this on the internet, that everything is through, all possibilities, the whole lot's through. They're all taken, or they've all been made mothers. And the problem I'm having also is, just the other day I signed up to a new dating site where I had 5 free tokens to send 1 message, and I couldn't send a message because obviously how many people was it? About 80 people from the UK. I went to the youngest age, so I went to 18, and every one of those members, somewhere between 70 and 80 people, I'm not sure the exact number, but it's around about that, are in relationships. And half of them are actually on there in relationships, but the other half are single mothers. But each and every one of those people in the UK on that specific dating site, aged 18 by the way, are all mothers. So they must have had sex at 14, 15, or 16, and by the time they reached 18 where they can legally use a dating site, they're all mothers. Yeah, I was not happy about that at all. Going back to the issue of the 10 of those ladies that I saw that looked like that 4-letter name, one of them, it was the last of the ones I saw, was in St John's Church churchyard, sitting on the bench with the back facing me as I passed her on the bus at roughly 6:55 p.m, 50 p.m, I'm not sure, but roughly in that sort of time period. And coming back, it was just a case of, actually the setups are kind of muddled when it sort of much in the way of suggestions, just the bike issue continuing. Right, I'll leave it there for this recording. Everything else will be put on a new recording, because this one's a little bit more of a serious recording, and the general recordings, especially when I mention the 4-letter name as well, and the details going on that, which I've never mentioned before, of a specific suggestion or whatever could be going on. Yeah, so thanks for listening. Just to remind you, today's date is the 29th of the 6th, 2026. So anything else will be dated tomorrow, even if there's any issues tonight, but I should make it on the recording to explain that it's still that date if it happens today. End of recording. Right, as I masturbate over the lady that asked me out last year, who I couldn't go with because of the situation that I've mentioned in this recording, there was a police siren straight as I was shooting, so yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?